Hey, how's it going, YouTube? And in today's video, we'll be discussing the mirror match and how it is you should be playing it. Now, if you're actually new to Law and you haven't had much mirror match experience, then you're probably not going to do too well into your opponent, because this game is all about who has the better card economy. It's all about who can manage their resources better. That's really your main focus in the Law mirror match, is that you want to try and make sure you're getting the max value out of your cards, while also trying to take as much as you can from your opponent. This can be very difficult, and you need to learn how to swing into Law. Generally speaking, whenever you swing 5 into Law, they're going to take the first life. I know I took my first life, and I know he takes his first life, because it just makes sense to do. Like, you'll want that extra card, and it doesn't necessarily hurt you to take that. So 9 times out of 10, most Law players are going to take their first life whenever you swing at them, and he does just that. And I wind up throwing down a Searcher Law. Unfortunately, I did not have a Raise Max in this situation, because I would have liked to have had that established on board. Whenever you toss a Raise Max down along with another creature, a good Law player will answer the creature, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to answer the thing that can attack at you, not the thing that can reduce. He could have bottomed, if I would have had that, I'm pretty sure he still would have bottom decked my Searcher Law instead of the Reducer, but that's fine. He goes ahead and swings 5 into my life. I'll go ahead and take that, because again, we don't mind taking our first life. It's completely fine to do. And then he sits there and thinks for a minute. I'm just like, he's probably going to play a Law, maybe Reduce, or play maybe an Otama or Gordon, something along those lines. When he had the 4 Dawn up, I was pretty sure he was about to play a Reducer Law, the 4 cost, but then he went for the Hail Mary play and just went for another 5 at life with Zoro. I heavily debated if I wanted to take this or not, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if I go down to 2 life, it won't be that bad. I'm pretty sure I can handle the Zoro and whatever he plays next turn. And that's all I had on my mind at this point in time. I wasn't really thinking about what else he could do. And then he just throws a complete Hail Mary at me. And he goes -2 with his Otama, put back 3, bottom decks my creature, and then plays a Rush Kid Killer and swings 7. And I'm just like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? That really did catch me off guard. And just be mindful of that. You don't really want to get caught off guard like that. Another thing that I want to mention is that in these games, you generally speaking don't want to throw down your rushers early. He gained board advantage. He gained board and life advantage, but I had hand advantage at this time. So I was up on him. The only thing I had to do was figure out how I was going to get past his board. Now, it's very important that if you are playing in the mirror match, it is critical that you never swing 5 into their 5s. If you swing 5 into their 5s, they're just going to give you cards. They're going to give you cards from their hand, and then you're just going to have to deal with their board. So you never want to swing 5 into their 5s, especially in a board state like this. So a board state like this, if I would have tried to go 5 into his any one of his rested characters, he had enough cards in his hand where he would have just countered out, and I would have lost next turn, because all he would have needed was some other type of reduction, and I'm done. I'm actually cooked. So in this turn, I'm trying to figure out how it is I can get rid of his board state and establish the board myself, while also depriving him of his board. So I wound up going Fire Fist onto one of his creatures. And at this point in time, I'm just like, well, I need to get rid of both of these creatures. I don't really need to give him any more cards out of his life. I just need to get his board cleared. And when you're in a situation like this, that's your priority. Your priority is to clear their board and make sure they don't have resources. Because if they have resources, obviously they're going to use them to go ahead and save their creatures, so they can just go ahead and keep pushing into life. So then I wound up tossing 3 for the Reducer Otama. I wound up bottom decking the Kid Killer, because it was the most threatening card on the board. So on his turn, it will be a 7K. So I had to choose to get rid of that. And then my next play is to play the Reducer Law, reducing his Zoro by 2 and swinging into it. The reason that I did that was because I wanted to take either 2 cards from his hand or the creature. And because I had put up the blocker, I knew I was going to be able to defend myself. So I was really comfortable with this position. He just goes to 5 base. Again, 5 base after the first life won't do anything for you. It really just kind of leaves you in a stuck position. And because he had activated his leader ability early and didn't play anything that ramped him, he was in a tough position. So he had to go a turn without using his leader ability, which is very detrimental because he's behind a monster. So in law, generally speaking, you want to be able to play 2 creatures per turn. This just makes sure that you have a oppressive board and you have a board state that your opponent is going to want to swing into more so than swing into your life. You want to reduce the options that your opponent has. And at this point in time, there wasn't too much that he could do based off of him not having Dawn to do it or any kind of Dawn rampers. So on my turn, I'm trying to figure out like what I can do to, again, KO his board and establish a board for myself as well. And I'm wondering if I should use this chopper, which actually comes in extremely handy in the mirror match. And this goes back to me speaking on playing sticky creatures that are playing creatures that have an ability to reduce as to playing cards that have an ability to reduce. Because this could have been anything else. It could have been a Beppo. It could have been a Mr. 2. It could have been an Ein. It could have been any of those cards. And those cards in particular would have only given me Dawn, but not actually helped for taking care of his board state. The chopper, however, though, helped me take care of his board state. So I didn't have any other way of reduction. I had used most of my reduction last turn, and the chopper was my constant reduction, so I didn't have to like try and draw into reduction. One of the things in this match is that he had to constantly draw into his reduction, and he didn't see some of it, which didn't help him in this match. But I swing 6 with the chopper, and I reduce his blocker. I think that he should have blockered right here. I don't think he should have taken that life. I think he was just looking for more cards. I think he was just trying to find something that helped him reduce. But by doing that, he left his card open. And I think he also was expecting me to swing with my character first and get the most value out of my Dawn. But the reason why I swung like that is because I was banking on him not blocking, because he seen that I had one more Dawn and that I would try and go for a 6 or maybe play something else to maybe reduce or pop it. But even still, he should block with that blocker instead of taking that life. But that life might have really helped him out in that turn. So I'll go ahead and play a Sanche and Penguin to ramp. And then I'm debating on if I want to play a Raise Max or not, or if I want to swing 6. And I believe I go just 6 at him. The reason why I debated playing a Raise Max or not, I don't know if I have the Raise Max in hand at this time, but the reason why I debated it was because if I presented it on field and he didn't have an answer for it, that on my upcoming turn, I don't have to spend that 1 Dawn for that Raise Max, which can be critical. That 1 Dawn can really help sway the match into a different direction. So he winds up giving me 2 cards. He winds up giving me a life and a card from hand. And I just, this move that I played with the ramping of my Dawn, it really, really helped me. It really helped me stay consistently in the game and be able to combat his board state. And another thing is just like when I speak on card economy, it's very important that you have good card economy. If you do, then you're in the better position as the law player with the better resources. And right now I'm feeling very comfortable. I took care of his board state. He has to answer. He can't go for my life right now. Like there's no reason why he should be swinging at my life. If you're in a situation like this, there's no reason you should swing at your opponent's life. You should be trying to clear their board as best as you can, because going for the life is either going to just give them cards, and then I can go ahead and counter out of whatever else you have. You know what I mean? So it's just like you don't really want to put yourself in a position to where they still have cards on board. And I was in a position right here where he swung 6 at the chopper, and I was trying to figure out if I wanted to protect it or not. I don't think I had any 2Ks in my hand, which was what was really holding me up, because I was curious. I was thinking to myself, well, I don't have any 2Ks, and I don't know if I want to give up 2 1Ks to save this, because I won't be able to save it again if he swings. But I was really banking on him not having a rusher at this point in time, so that if he so that he couldn't destroy the chopper. That's why I gave up so many cards to protect the chopper. Because again, I acknowledge that he would have had to have had a rusher at this point, or he would have had to have something that reduced and or bottom deck the chopper. Because he had to get rid of this. This card was going to gain me insane value for the rest of the game if it stayed on board. So he's just in a position where he has to answer it. And I know a lot of people will say like, oh, I don't like it because it's an easy answer for Sakazuki, but that's fine. Like if they have to Hound Blaze this, that's one less Hound Blaze that they have for more troublesome bodies. You know what I mean? Like, little bodies like these really, really help. A lot of people will make the argument that they will KO them, but that's honestly what you want. You really want them to be KO'd. You want your on field reducers to cost your opponent resources to have to get rid of. And so he just goes another 6 with his Roar Zoro. And I am not about to give him 2 more cards to save this because I honestly didn't know what he could play. Then he plays the other Kid Killer to go into my board, which was smart. I think that he played that turn very, very wisely. I think that he made all the right choices. The Kid Killer into my board was actually, the right move. Again, when you're playing against Law in the mirror match, it's not often that you want to go for their life, and it's not often that you want to swing exactly 5 at anything. As you've seen, he never swung 5. He always made sure to swing above 5. I stress this because if you're in the mirror match and you swing 5 at your opponent, then you're almost asking to lose because you need to be able to clear their units in the mirror match. Like your priority is clearing units and then going to life. That's it. You clear the units, you go for life. Clear units, go for life. If they still have units, try and get those off the board before you go to life. And again, never swing 5. They'll just always discard a card. So we're going on to my turn, and I'm just trying to figure out what it is that I can do in this particular situation, how much Dawn I have, and how can I use this Dawn to the max of my ability. Like maximum efficiency Dawn here is what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm just trying to think about how it is I'm going to deal with his board state. I don't know if I have any reduction at this time. I don't think that I do. But I know that I have to get I know I have to get the Kid Killer off the field. I know that just has to happen. There is no leaving that guy on the board. So I wound up swinging 5, which is the base. And the reason I did that is because I actually just wanted to get cards out of his hand. Is because I believe I have a plan for his board. We're about to find out here in a moment. But I only swung 5 because I'm setting myself up for a potential game. So I just know that I need to get cards out of his hand. So that was the point of me just swinging that base 5 because I knew he would just give me a card. And that's really what I wanted. So then I believe that I go 7 into the Kid Killer. I do. And that's 2 cards. So I knew he wasn't going to give up 1 card and then give up 2 cards because that would have been a lot of cards. And I still had Dawn. And he doesn't know if I can minus or not. So I wound up playing a Sachi Penguin for 3. And I think I use Leader Skill after this. Yeah, I do. I do use Leader Skill after this. So I wind up going Leader Skill and then playing my own Kid Killer and then having my Kid Killer swing into his Zoro, which again would have cost him 2 cards. So that's never good for Law. You really don't want to have to give up 2 cards if you know that the monster isn't going to stick. Like, if he would have given up 2 cards right there just to keep the monster on board, that actually would have been fine. That would have been fine because it would have left him with an additional swing and the ability to get rid of my board and possibly go for a game. But he's in a position right now where again he has to go at my board. If he attempts to go for life, there's a very big chance that he could lose. Because of the fact that I had that Shariah blocker, I felt actually really comfortable because I knew that he had to play something to reduce the Shariah if he wanted to get to that life. So if he wanted to do some sort of like attack shenanigans, it would have taken too much for him to be able to do that. So right now, I'm in a very good position at this point. I have the most creatures on board. I've had the most control. One of the very big pivotal turns for me was him not being able to use his leader effect the following turn after when he summoned the Shariah. When he summoned the Shariah, him not being able to use his leader ability that turn really set him back because in reality, he might have should have given up the Sachi Penguin out of hand to play the Shariah or to get the additional Dawn. But he wound up going for a blocker, and then he winds up using his Kid Killer to go into my Kid Killer. I wound up using my Shariah to block because I needed that 7K swing. Because when you're in this game, the 7K swing is, like I say, it's really, really important. Swinging higher than 5 against Law is really important. Generally speaking, you always want to swing higher than 5 whenever you're playing against Law. And even as a Law player, playing against most decks, you actually do want to swing higher than 5. 6 is the magic number in this deck because you can swing multiple 6s, and now that you can swing like at minimum 2 6s and a 7 at your opponent, you can eat a bunch of their 2Ks, which really helps for your in game. Because if they don't have 2Ks, then they don't have the ability to counter out. And I'm not saying like, oh, you can't counter out without 2Ks, but if you don't have 2Ks, then countering out becomes really difficult. So I go 5 at life. He's got 1 card in hand. I can take the 1 card, or he can take the life. He chooses to take the life, which is very interesting. I still have 2 more attacks. I would have to have 3 attacks, and I think he was worried more so about me having a rusher, is what I actually needed. I don't know if I actually had a rusher for this turn coming up. I think I just had to swing as is. So then I go. Do I go 7 to life? I think I go 7 to life. And he I don't remember what he chooses to do, but we're about to find out here together. But yeah, I wound up going 7 into life. I think I was debating if that was the right number. Yeah, I was really debating was 7 the right number, and then I decided, yeah, 7 was it. So I'll go 7 into life, and he chooses to block with the Shariah and save it, which was a good move. It was a good move to block with the Shariah and save it, because if I am unable to kill him this turn, he wins on his following turn. So that was a really good move for him. That was actually very, very smart. It put me in a position to where, really, if he had it, he had it. If he didn't, he didn't. I think I wound up negging myself a Dawn for this. No, I didn't neg myself a Dawn for this. No, I did neg myself 1 Dawn for this. So I wound up going 6 and then 7 into life, and that's game. He had 2 1Ks. So was able to get it by the scrape of my teeth there. I was really hoping that he wouldn't get a 2K counter out of life, and he didn't. So I was able to get that one. But no, just pay attention to that mirror match. Pay attention to how I played it. Unfortunately, he didn't see a lot of the cards that he needed to. I just had better resources than him, which can happen. But also just pay attention to how we played that game. Like, neither one of us, once we initially got each other's life down, it was just all board from there. That's just how you have to play it. But thank you guys for watching so much. Hope that was educational for you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Good game, man. Good game.
Yeah, that was rough. I think you also saw more rushing inside it. Like I had 2 up front, which was really good, but then that was it. So.